Hey guys, welcome to E-Man's Movie Reviews. I'm E-Man, and I have no idea how to swim. I took swimming lessons when I was a kid, but I nearly drowned a few times, so I just kind of gave up on the whole thing. Ironically, I love being on boats. It's just a lot of fun to be on top of the water, riding the waves, with the fresh air in your face, and especially being dry rather than being under the water and fighting for your life. Being very cold. Plus, it's also dark and scary, and there's parasites and bacteria and all sorts of different little critters in the water, and depending on the kind of water you're in, there could also be sharks. Yeah. This week, I'm going to be reviewing the movie Chocolat, which was made in 2000 by Mr. Lasse Hallström. Now, I'm a huge fan of Johnny Depp. He's a great actor, he's a great guy, and he's been through hell and back, and I support him full-heartedly, and I hope that justice will forever be on his side. He's always played quirky and zany characters, but in this film, he goes against what he typically does and actually plays a more serious role, which really caught me by surprise, but it was a pleasant surprise. Depp plays a chocolate maker and chocolate salesman during the harsh times of World War II. He almost dies many times since he walks through fields where people are shooting at each other, narrowly avoids landmines, and gets captured consistently, but since he's from Switzerland, he's neutral, and therefore he's not on any side, which is why whenever he gets caught or questioned, he is then let go. His chocolate becomes rather famous, and he sells it to both sides, since the businessman in him knows that a lot of profit can be made, especially when there's a war. Since his chocolate is so good, both the Allied and the Axis powers want it only for themselves and threaten him not to sell it to the other side, or there will be huge consequences to pay. He refuses, saying that his chocolate is neutral just like him, and no one can tell him how to run his business, and basically tells them both to f*** off. This angers the leader on both sides, of course, and so they decide to go after him and imprison him in order to force him to only give them his chocolate. They both have the same plan. The Axis powers get to him first and imprison him, but he is able to use his wit and charm and some chocolate to bribe his way out of there and escapes. The Allied powers capture him shortly after, but he reminds them of the treaty that they have with Switzerland, and if the Swiss were to find out about him being prisoner, there would be hell to pay, since Switzerland basically was the bank that both sides put all of their gold in, and if the Swiss were to get angry, then all of that gold would just disappear. So they eventually let him go as well. Now, word of his amazing chocolate reaches American shores rather quickly, and it becomes the single motivation for America to finally get mixed up in the war in this movie, to retrieve Johnny Depp and his chocolate so that the Americans can sell it throughout the United States. Since he is the only one who knows the secret recipe and is the only one who can make the secret ingredient, which is what makes it better than any other chocolate in the world, he decides to increase his profits even more, and after a secret conversation with the president, he decides to accept the offer and move to America. The Americans come so fast to pick him up, and they escort him safely back to the US, while battling the Axis who find out about the conversation and get in their way. Once Depp is on American shores, both sides plead with him to come back and share his chocolate with them once again, and he tells them that he will only do so if the war ends and all the fighting stops. After a long week of ceasefire, both the Allied and Axis powers come to a truce, and the war is over. Depp then creates the greatest chocolate factory known to man and sells his chocolate globally to be enjoyed by billions upon billions of people. Now, the ending was a little shocking, as the camera follows Depp entering his private office alone, and we find out that the secret ingredient this whole time that led to the end of World War II was his semen. After he furiously goes to town on himself, he grabs a vial and places his semen into it and then leaves his office and makes sure that no one is around before dumping it into a huge mixing container. Depp smiles as he zips up his pants, goes towards the door, and turns the lights off. I rate this movie a solid 8 out of 10. The entire movie was really good, and I was really involved and cared about Depp and what would happen to him and his chocolate, and it was so incredible that his chocolate was so powerful that it was actually able to stop the war, but that ending really came out of left field. I mean, way out of left field. And I was not expecting that at all. I mean, I would have been totally fine. Totally fine with not knowing the secret ingredient. But no, it was his sperm. So if you guys haven't seen this movie, then check it out because it's Johnny Depp as a chocolate maker playing a serious role, both things which you will never see again. And I would say at about 2 hours, 50 minutes, and 32 seconds, just stop it there and be happy with what you've seen so far. Trust me. And if you've already seen this movie, well, then you've seen the sperm in the vial and then in the chocolate mixer, so yeah. I stopped eating chocolate after watching this movie, and I don't think I could ever eat chocolate again. It will never be appetizing to me because I will never be able to get those images out of my head, and every chocolate bar I see is just coated with sperm. In a way, that's a good thing, because I've been packing on some weight, and if chocolate was still part of my diet, I would probably weigh even more than I do now. So, thanks, Johnny Depp. See you guys next week.